Alright, hello there. Once again, please subscribe to my channel, like these videos, watch them all the way through, share if you would. There's good messages, and I know that I might not be the most gifted speaker in the world, but there's also a really important purpose behind all of these messages. So I hope that, if you have time, you could even listen and not watch. Turn it on while you're driving instead of the radio and listen all the way through. And you might get some information that you didn't know you needed. Anyway, today's theme is the Plop thickens. That's what happens when there's so much proof in the pudding that it doesn't really run anymore. It's just thick. I told a friend once that I thought he was my friend, but what I said was that God is the zero knowledge proof, and I stand by that. And I'm not going to explain what that means today because that will take some time, maybe in the next video. But anywho, today, this is where faith is really important, because it does get really challenging. And even when you think today is it, today is gonna be my better day, things happen, and finally there's a financial breakthrough that you really need, and it was a huge sacrifice for you to get it, but you made that decision because it was the right thing to do. Because even though people are treating you horribly, you don't want to put other people in that same position just because people weren't good to you. So that was my intention in making this decision and taking kind of a huge hit that I realized, things just don't matter, and I've got things to pay. So I don't want to hold up somebody else's success because somebody didn't treat me well. So that happened, and then that got delayed for totally unreasonable reasons. It doesn't make much sense, except that so many things and people are all up in my business. I guess it does make sense at this point. So that's a stall that I can deal with, and I'm no matter, because there are other things I'm working on, and I expected some other money to come in today. And then sometimes your other plans get changed and changed again, and sometimes it's because people feel the need to cause you frustration, even though their frustration is misplaced. For instance, just an example, not slighting, because I realize that things do happen, but what I said to this person that was supposed to come and pick something up today was, I just explained that I was since it got changed so many times, some other things have, including jobs and interviews, and communications of mine have been interrupted in a lot of ways, and it's really frustrating. So I simply explained that I had to report it to cybercrimes with the rest, and this man got offended and said that whoa, obviously you have a personal problem. Don't quote me, I don't remember exactly what he said. Obviously you have bigger problems than this or something, and then you need Jesus. And I'm I had to explain that this is a consistent problem for me, and I have to report it with the lot, even if his intentions were pure, plans just changed, because that's what I have to do, and it didn't have anything to do with him, and I was so the only thing you can do is explain, I see where you're coming from, that wasn't really fair of you to say that to me, but I'm gonna let it go, but either way, it's one more thing fell through, and then what was a really I thought gonna be productive day again was like disappointing. And so I go for my walk, right? At this point, I'm like on the verge of tears, being like, I just need like something to go right, right? And I start getting defensive and be like, I don't understand, like, you know, like, how come you're not coming through for me? Like, what's going on? Like, what else do I need to do? And then I take a deep breath and know that I need my walk, and I take some deep breaths, and I'm just like, I know that you have everything under control, and I'm just upset right now, you know, because it just seems like one thing after another. Like, I know there's a plan beyond me, but like, good Lord, can I get a hug? Like, you know? That's what I said. And so then I'm walking up around the hill, and then I see back through the leaves in the bushes, like I see a little bit, I love the deer, right? And so I see a deer moving, and he picks up his head, and I hear, I'm working behind the scenes. And it was like a reminder to me, like, we don't know why God does what he does. He says that we don't know the plans that he has to prosper us. And we don't, you know, and like historically, I can say that I know full well, like that's the truth, you know, like it always works out, you know, whether you think it's going to or not, and it's usually some unexpected way. So I don't know what's going on. And then I look up, and then this guy comes riding his bike in this bright orange jacket. And then I was like, that's a little extra. I was like, it's warm outside, but not my business, whatever. And I'm going along. And then, I don't know why I was thinking, like, I'm walking along again and thinking, like, about, like, orange. And I was like, the color orange keeps popping up too. And then I'm walking around, and I see a branch, and I was like, that looks like antlers. And then I was like, the hunter, because that keeps coming up, the hunter. And I was like, so, I don't know. I know that the recurring themes are significant, and I should pay attention to them. So maybe that's one of the things that has nothing to do with me. I don't know. But the hunter and bright orange seems to be significant. So I'm going to say it, and I feel like I'm being prompted to say it. So also another thing, when I run into those recurring things and I realize, like, it's kind of like breadcrumb trails, you know, like, I don't know why I said breadcrumb trails. I have no idea why I said that. Like, I know what was in my head, but I don't know why that came out. Anyway, but it's like little reminders along the way to keep you on track, and let you know that you're on the right path, and that there is a pathway, you know. Maybe you don't know where it ends, or maybe you don't know the way back, but there are, you know, there's a trail for you to follow. So anyway, that brings me to, all of a sudden then, yes, like I'm walking, and then I'm back in my happiness and my security. And then, you know, I realized, I'm like, I'm sorry, like, I don't mean to be ungrateful. I'm just like, I know that I need to be patient. But I was like, but you know that I'm not patient. And so how exactly was it put? So the sun, like, I swear the sun like twinkled a little bit. It came out, and it was like, how about, like, are you lacking anything? Like, have I denied you any good thing? And I'm like, no. No. So, and it's true. Like, I haven't done without a single thing since all of this started. And it's been so long. It's been so long. We're talking like more than 2 years now, that I haven't been paid this huge amount of money. And it's cost me so much money going through all this, and so much mental anguish and pain and heartbreak. You know, even in the realization that people will go so far to, number one, be dishonest, and not give you even the opportunity to speak or ask what your side of the story is. And then, you know, accuse you of things that you certainly did not do, when you always worked for their good. And then to spread lies and, really go out of the way to diminish your character and present you to be a person that you're not. Then having basically no defense, and then having to deal with things the way that God says we should deal with things, and know that, like, my obedience to God has to come first. There's a way that we are supposed to conduct ourselves, and I'm not going to compromise who I really am in retaliation, or I have to do it this way. And not that I'm not doing anything, like, I have to do it the way God says I have to do it. So it's been really hard, but realizing all of this, like, whatever outside circumstances is, whatever really horrible situations it seems to have put me in, the truth is that I haven't been denied anything. And that's something that we really need to understand in looking at prosperity, is that our providence comes from God, that every good thing comes from God and it isn't denied to you, especially when you live in this obedience. And sometimes things don't go our way. It's not what we expected, or not exactly what we wanted. And sometimes we do without luxuries, and whatever God's plan is, it might be for a time. Like, we all need this continued instruction. God does what he's doing. Like, everything is his. So we have to remember to be grateful, and to open your eyes and look around and realize I have more than enough all of the time, and I do have so much, and I am so grateful. I have too much still. I'm still trying to get rid of my stuff, and, like, even though some people think it's cool to try to ruin that too, like, I really wish they would just leave me alone. But again, like, wishing that people had any other conviction is kind of useless. You can pray for them, you can pray that they will, like, see the light, that God will open their heart, but otherwise you've got to separate yourself and protect yourself from people who just won't. So I wanted to, I guess I got ahead of myself, but I was looking at Colossians, I don't really know how you say that, it doesn't matter, I don't think. Chapter 2, verse 16 says, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Jesus Christ, even we have believed in Jesus Christ, that we might be justified by the faith of Christ, and not by the works of the law. For by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified. And this, I think, is significant in a lot of situations, but it's that, whether there was some technicality that allowed you for a moment maybe to slide under the radar, or sometimes things can be manipulated, and sometimes, even though the people involved in the justice system are supposed to operate with a certain level of integrity, that's not always the case, and things are manipulated. And what this is saying is, like, whatever, if you don't have this faith, if you don't care about your salvation or humanity, then it won't matter to you. But if you do, or if you believe you have that conviction, but you're still trying to get away with shady stuff and not treating people well on the earth, like, there's a higher court, there's a higher law that we all answer to, no matter what. So we have to first be obedient to the will of God. And I don't know how to say it. I don't want to be mean. Like, I'm not mean. It's just that it's upsetting. It's disappointing that people still, even people who know better, choose to save face, or to, because they're, don't want to expose what really happened, or don't want to admit that they didn't go about things the right way, because they can get away with it. Like, you really can't get away with it. It's like, you might cause me, like, I might get upset for 10 minutes, but I know in that moment that I need to go for a walk and have a talk with God, and He's going to talk me through it, and then I'm going to come back and feel much better and continue doing what I need to do. So, that being said, I love you very much, unconditionally. I hope that every person can get something out of this message, and realize that your intentions matter. How we treat each other matters. Like, whether you can get away with it or not, it works out better if we all just do the right thing. So, I love you very much. Have a wonderful day. If you want to talk to me, always my email is available in the description, or by private message, or if you just want to share this message, I would be so grateful. Thank you so much for your support. Have a good night.